Okay, welcome. Today we are really sinking our teeth into tooth color. Why do teeth turn yellow? Our deep dive is aiming to show you something maybe a bit surprising. Whiteness, often an optical illusion, and yellowing. Frequently it's structural, unavoidable. So our mission is to get past just, surface stains and brushing tips. We want to understand the changes happening deeper down. And right off the bat, we need to split this into two main types. Extrinsic, that's the surface stuff, and intrinsic, the change is happening inside the tooth.
Exactly. And to really get the why, you first need a handle on the anatomy. Tooth color isn't like paint. It's a complex optical effect. It's really a blend, a visual synthesis of the two main tissues, the outer enamel and the inner dentin.
Okay, let's pause there. If the dentin underneath is yellow, how does a tooth look white in the first place? What's the enamel doing to create that white look?
Ah, the enamel.
Right.
That's the key. It's the hard outer shell, mostly mineral, about 96%. But crucially, it's semi-translucent, and it's a cellular, meaning unlike bone, if it wears down or gets damaged, it can't grow back. No self-repair there. The dentin under it, though, that's living tissue. It's vital, and that provides the basic inherent yellow color, the hue of the tooth.
Okay, right. So let me unpack this. The whiteness we perceive isn't really white color itself. It's more about light.
Precisely. It's highlight scattering. Thick, healthy enamel scatters light really effectively, masking that yellow dentin core beneath.
Got it. So yellowing starts when that semi-see-through enamel layer gets thinner, maybe just from wear and tear over the years?
Exactly. It thins out, and more of that natural yellow dentin color starts showing through.
Okay, so that's the structural basis. How does this link to the surface stains, the extrinsic part?
Well, that structural reality is important, but for surface stains, the mineral itself isn't the immediate target. It's actually something else.
Right, it's the acquired pellicle. I remember reading about this, that super thin, invisible protein film that saliva forms on your teeth.
That's the one. Think of it as the molecular canvas. That's what stains actually stick to.
A canvas, I like that.
And what's really fascinating here is the stain amplification cascade. It's rarely just one thing causing the stain. First, you have chromogens. These are the actual color pigments. Think coffee, red wine, berries. They bind to that pellicle layer.
Okay, standard culprits.
But then you have tannins, found in things like tea and, again, red wine. These are critical cofactors. They act like molecular primers. They actually change the pellicle surface, making it much stickier, much more receptive to those chromogens binding.
So the tannins prep the surface for the colors to stick better.
Exactly. And then, layer 3, acids. From sodas, wine, even some fruits. Acids microscopically roughen the enamel surface itself. This makes the pellicle and the stains trapped in it much harder to simply brush away.
Yeah.
Creates little nooks and crannies for them.
Wow. Okay, so my morning coffee and evening wine aren't just staining. They're actively helping each other stain more effectively. That's depressing. And we should quickly mention tobacco, right? That's a classic.
Yes, and the interesting thing there is nicotine itself is colorless.
Oh, really?
Yes, it only turns yellow when it oxidizes, when it reacts with air. Plus, you get the sticky tar deposits, which create those really stubborn brown or black stains. Very tenacious.
All right, so that covers the surface battle, the extrinsic stuff, which is somewhat reversible.
Now we move deeper.
Yes, into intrinsic staining, changes within the tooth structure itself. And this stuff, this is often permanent, isn't it?
Often, yes. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like aging, what we see is actually a dual mechanism for age-related yellowing. First, as we discussed, the outer enamel naturally thins from years of use, of wear. But simultaneously, inside the tooth, the vital dentin core actually thickens and can darken over time. It lays down what's called secondary dentin.
Whoa, hang on. So the protective whitish layer gets thinner, while the yellow core underneath gets thicker and darker.
That's the unfortunate reality for many people.
Yes.
Less masking from the outside, more color from the inside.
That explains a lot about why teeth naturally yellow with age, regardless of habits.
Yeah.
Okay, what about other internal causes, developmental ones?
Well, the classic textbook example is Tetracycline staining. It's an antibiotic. If taken during childhood while teeth are developing, the drug molecule actually gets incorporated into the mineralizing dentin and enamel permanently. And it causes these very characteristic horizontal bands of discoloration. They often start fluorescent yellow, but can change over time. Through a process called photooxidation, basically, reacting to light exposure, they can shift towards a grayish brown. Very distinctive.
Right, I've seen pictures of that. Okay, and what about just injuring a tooth, like a knock or a fall?
Ah, trauma. Yes. That typically causes localized discoloration in just the single injured tooth. What happens is you get internal bleeding inside the tooth pulp. The blood components break down, and iron from hemoglobin reacts with sulfides, forming dark iron sulfides within those tiny dentinal tubules, the channels inside the dentin. This leads to a progressive, dull, gray, or even black appearance. Clinically, it's often a strong sign the tooth's nerve might have died, become non-vital.
Okay, that makes sense. A sort of internal bruising that doesn't heal. So, stepping back then, looking at the whole picture across a lifetime, it seems clear that tooth yellowing isn't just about, did you brush enough today?
Not at all.
It's almost always multifactorial. It's a mix of your genetics, how thick your enamel was to begin with, plus natural aging processes.
The thinning enamel, the darkening dentin.
Right. And then layered on top of that are all your lifestyle habits. The coffee, the wine, the smoking, the acidic drinks.
Absolutely. It's a complex interplay.
Which leads to, I guess, a final thought, maybe something for you listening to consider. Well, maybe you can pose this one.
Okay. Well, given everything we've discussed,
Yeah.
that the inherent color of the dentin is often yellowish, and that thinning enamel, which is a natural process, exposes it. How do you, or how does anyone, reconcile that powerful cultural aesthetic desire for brilliant whiteness with the irreversible, completely natural, and frankly protective process of enamel wear over a lifetime? It raises a question, doesn't it? Is achieving and maintaining some degree of what we call yellowing simply the inevitable price of having a fully matured, functional tooth that served you well for decades? Something to chew on,